Have you ever had that feeling of déjà vu? A moment so strange it makes you question reality itself. What if I told you that feeling, that tiny crack in your perception, might not be a trick of your mind? What if it's a symptom of something much, much bigger? A ghost in the machine, a fundamental error buried deep in the past that silently rewrote our world. Imagine a single line of bad code, a tiny miscalculation in the 1980s, an error when we first handed over the keys of our civilization to computers. A forgotten bug, a simple rounding error that has been multiplying and spreading for decades, subtly altering everything we think we know. This isn't a science fiction movie. This is a journey into the heart of our digital reality to uncover a glitch that might have changed not just our technology, but us. Let's rewind to the dawn of the digital age. The 1980s, big hair synth pop, and the quiet revolution happening in beige boxes on desks around the world. For the first time, governments, banks, scientific institutions, the very pillars of our society began to place their absolute trust in computers. These machines were seen as infallible, logical, and free from human error. Stock markets started relying on automated trading algorithms. Global positioning systems began mapping our planet with unprecedented precision. Scientists used complex simulations to predict everything from weather patterns to economic futures. The logic was simple. The computer is always right. If a human calculation didn't match the machine's output, it was the human who was wrong. We collectively decided to trust the silicon brain over our own. But what if that trust was misplaced from the very beginning? Consider the sheer complexity of the software being written back then. Programmers were pioneers, charting new territory with limited processing power and memory. The languages were less sophisticated, the debugging tools were primitive. It's entirely plausible, almost inevitable, that errors were made. Not just small, insignificant bugs, but fundamental algorithmic flaws. A broken formula for calculating interest rates. A rounding error in a program mapping astronomical coordinates. A miscalculation in the software used for census data. On its own, one small error might seem trivial. But what happens when that error is embedded in a system that becomes the foundation for countless other systems? It becomes a digital gene, passed down from one generation of software to the next, its effects compounding over time. Think of it like a tiny error in the first blueprint of a skyscraper. The first few floors might seem fine, but by the time you reach the top, the entire structure is skewed, unstable, and dangerously different from the original design. This is the core of the glitch theory. A foundational error, born in the 80s, has been silently corrupting our data-driven world ever since. So how could a digital glitch actually change human behavior? It's simpler than you think. Our behavior is constantly shaped by the information we receive. If the information is flawed, our decisions will be to... Let's take a hypothetical example. Imagine a glitch in early financial software that consistently undervalued certain types of investments by a fraction of a percent over years. This would steer trillions of dollars away from those areas and into others, not based on real-world value, but on a ghost in the machine. It could artificially inflate bubbles, cause inexplicable crashes, and reward behaviors that, in a correct reality, would have been financial suicide. People would adapt their strategies to this skewed reality. They'd learn to play the game according to the glitched rules, believing it was just how the market works. They wouldn't know they were dancing to the tune of a broken algorithm. Or think about how we perceive time and space. Early GPS systems and digital clocks became the standard. We stopped looking at the sun and stars and started looking at our screens. But what if the algorithms that synchronized these global systems had a tiny, cumulative error? A microsecond lost here, a nanometer there. It sounds like nothing, right? But over 40 years, these discrepancies add up. Maybe it explains why time seems to speed up as we get older, not just psychologically, but because our entire global timekeeping system is slowly drifting. Maybe it explains strange navigational anomalies or geographic data that just doesn't quite line up. We adjust our lives to these digital measurements. We schedule our meetings, fly our planes, and build our cities based on data we assume is perfect. If the data is wrong, our entire physical relationship with the world is subtly but profoundly altered. And what about our very identities? In the digital age, you are your data, your credit score, your social security number, your online profile, your medical records. Most of these digital identity systems have roots stretching back to those early days of computing. A glitch in an early database algorithm could have merged, corrupted, or slightly altered records. It might explain cases of mistaken identity that seem impossible to resolve, or people who seem to have vanished from official records, or those who have to. We treat our digital profile as the ultimate truth. If the system says you have a bad credit score because of a 30-year-old data error, you're treated as a risk, regardless of your actual financial history. The glitch becomes your reality. Your behavior is forced to conform to the error. You spend years trying to fix a problem that, to the system, doesn't exist. You are fighting a ghost. This brings us to the present day, an era dominated by artificial intelligence and machine learning. If the simple algorithms of the 80s could have such a massive, hidden influence, what about the complex, self-learning AI is we're building now? These systems are often black boxes. Even their creators don't fully understand how they arrive at their conclusions. They are trained on vast datasets that have been collected, sorted, and curated for decades by older, potentially glitched systems. We are essentially feeding our new gods a diet of potentially corrupted information. The original sign of that 1980s coding error could now be embedded in the DNA of our most advanced artificial intelligences. When an AI system denies someone a loan, recommends a medical diagnosis, or even targets a suspect in a criminal investigation, It's doing so based on patterns it learned from this historical data. If the data is skewed, the AI's decisions will be biased, but in ways that are almost impossible to detect. The AI will simply present its conclusion as the logical outcome. It might create correlations and causal links that don't exist in the real world, but which are perfectly logical within its glitch data. We are at risk of building a future where our lives are governed by A is that are, perpetuating and amplifying a 40-year-old mistake. The glitch is no longer just a passive error. It's becoming an active, intelligent force shaping our world. So, is this all just a wild conspiracy theory, a fun thought experiment? Perhaps there's no single piece of smoking gun evidence, no leaked document titled Project Glitch, but the circumstantial evidence is compelling. Think of the Mandela effect, where large groups of people share the same false memory. Is it just a quirk of human psychology, or are we remembering a reality that was overwritten by a data correction? Think of the inexplicable stock market flash crashes, blamed on rogue algorithms. Are they truly rogue, or are they just acting out the logical yet catastrophic conclusion of a flawed premise? The beauty and the terror of the glitch theory is that it's almost impossible to disprove. How can you prove the map is wrong when the map is the only tool you have to navigate the territory? Ultimately, this isn't about blaming long-retired programmers from the 1980s. It's a profound question about our relationship with technology. We have outsourced our collective memory, our logic, and our sense of reality to machines. We did this with the best of intentions, seeking a more efficient, logical, and connected world. But we may have forgotten to account for the most human of all things, error. The possibility of the glitch forces us to be more critical, to question the digital oracle, and to remember that the output on a screen is not reality itself, but a representation of it. And that representation might just be flawed. The next time you experience a moment of strange déjà vu, or see something that just doesn't add up, pause for a second. Don't just dismiss it. You might just be seeing the seams of our reality, a faint flicker from the original glitch in the Matrix. What do you think? Could a decades-old computing error be secretly running our world? Let me know your thoughts and your own glitch stories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive down the rabbit hole, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content that challenges your reality. Thanks for watching.